Alright guys, Catch again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. One of the key dramas going into Call of Duty Black Ops 7 is what the Gentleman's Agreement lineup is going to look like when the new season gets underway. The snipers are a key talking point for the new game. Many players such as Dashy want them back in the title. Other players like Scrappy are not so convinced, but Hector says he's been speaking with some of the other owners, and if snipers don't come back for the new game, not just the snipers will get GA'd, but so will the salaries of the pro players. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into today. A few interesting things. Starting here, which players could get their first pro COD event victory next season? I feel kind of bad for Nastie, right? Because he had a great year on Surge. We think he's going to be joining Boston. I actually like that Boston team still. Purj, Snoopy, Cammy, Nastie. I think Nastie should be an upgrade on Big Wake. We know they came top 3 at the World Championship anyway. Still think there's potential there, but the likelihood to win, because Nastie's had so many second places at this point, even with LA Thieves the year before in Modern Warfare 3, it's pretty tough. Abuzah kind of feels weird to have him in this pink with the FaZe Vegas. Of course, he's going to be looking to get over the line as well. Neptune, the same story applies now on Gentlemates, we think. But then also JoeDeceives is pretty interesting because he's staying around on Toronto. If he was available, if he was gettable, if Toronto let him go, right, which they were never going to do, but if they did, then he would have been a key player in this Rostermania period, I think, with other teams looking to build rosters. But of course, that is never what happened in the end. Speaking of Toronto, he also said this, the 23rd of October, which is tomorrow, they do this. Now, clearly they're going to do some sort of like merch drop or something, but presumably this might be an announcement of what the actual branding is going to be, right? Because for some time we thought that this was going to be Toronto Koi and they were going to represent the same brands they did at the World Cup. But then when they actually announced their roster officially with ReeaL coming in and all that, then they didn't do that. They didn't change anything. They just left it as it is. So that's why there have been some questions as to whether Ultra as a brand may stay around after all. And I know that they may well want to align everything across all the franchises that they have, but I like the Ultra brand in COD. I think it'd be a bit of a shame if it went. This does look like a bit of a purple jersey going on here rather than the blue and white of Koi. So maybe that's something to think about. I guess we'll find out tomorrow. We're going into another Black Ops season, by the way, and there's only one player who was kind of considered to be the MVP of a couple of different Black Ops seasons. Some of these, of course, are rather unofficial because there weren't official MVPs given out back in the day. It's also kind of remarkable to see the progression in prize money over the years. But back in Black Ops 1 2011, JCap was pretty unanimously considered the best player in that game. He won $13,000 in prize money that year. Karma won $114,000 in prize money in Black Ops 2. Of course, he was the world champion that year as well and pretty much undeniably the best player in the game. Then Scump in Black Ops 3, but the world championship didn't go to plan. Then Simp for a couple of years in a row. I mean, in Cold War, Simp won $482,000. Obviously won the champs and then won 3 other events as well. Only came in halfway through Black Ops 4, won 2 events, nearly 300k across just a couple of weekends. So yeah, Simp did it in Black Ops 4, back in Cold War as well. We've not had a Black Ops game since the most recent one, Black Ops 6, and maybe Simp feels like it's time to get back to the top with FaZe. Scrap was the MVP the most recent year, but as we know, the biggest tournament didn't quite go to plan. So intrigued to your thoughts on where that's going to go next. I mean, if you look at all these names, quite a lot of SMG players in there, certainly back in the day. Scrap, though, the most recent game, I think BO7 could be a return to form for the SMGs. We'll see what HyDra can potentially do, especially alongside his new team. So a couple of clips I wanted to share here. HyDra's talking about his new teammates, talking about the weirdest teammates he's ever had. This is when they did that K-Sun 2v2 tournament the other day at TwitchCon. So interesting to hear his perspective because aBeZy and HyDra on paper is an outrageous duo. Again, the question for many is going to be how it's going to work with Kenny because there's been some speculation over the last few days. HyDra and Ghosty might not have gone along too well towards the end of their time on Thieves. How's it going to go with Kenny? I'd love to be a fly on the wall in a scrim where they're getting cooked or after a league match where they're getting cooked. Sometimes it's going to happen and they're going to have arguments, I'm sure. But the question is, how do those arguments conclude? Do they conclude positively and the team takes strides as a result, which I wouldn't not expect. I think there's a good chance that does happen, certainly for the first year of them teaming, and that's probably going to be very productive indeed. But if not, you could expect a couple of things to go a different way. Speaking of internal team beefs, actually, Neptune was also talking about his beef with Crimsix and what that was like back in the day. Of course, we know that the Vanguard season was very dramatic indeed for the New York team. Neptune was on there for a short amount of time. Then things turned around. They had PaulX, they had Kismet, of course, and then Crim and HyDra towards the end of the season, and that went rather more positively. And that was one of the reasons that season why Neptune was, look, no one I think would really have expected the Neptune would end up back in the league a few years after what was a very challenging couple of stints and end up being a top player and making multiple grand finals and arguably should have won at least one of those tournaments and be considered a key name free agent going into the upcoming year. I always thought even in Cold War with Florida, Neptune was clearly very talented, but after the Florida stint, after the New York stint, after he came back with Los Angeles Guerrillas back in Modern Warfare 2, it never really felt like it was going to end this way.
Because we got to kill some time.
All right.
Let's talk about your new team.
My new team, okay.
Let's talk about the team. Like, we've seen some content. Content looks really fun. Okay. What's it like with Abe? We'll start with Abe.
I mean,
yeah, man.
He's just like a funny, I don't know. He's like a normal, probably the most normal guy with like Deal and like Preston I've ever met, to be honest. He's just like a normal guy, just chilling, just like grinding. It's funny. I don't know. Normal human.
Right. Yeah, he's a good dude. Oh, well, also, let's talk about Kenny. What's Kenny like, man? Because he's a vibe.
Oh, yeah, same thing. I mean, honestly, obviously we haven't played together yet. We don't, like, well, we do content. We went outside. We went to a new video that's coming out soon. I can't say where we went, but, well, no, we had, like, a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know. They're just normal humans. I don't know.
They're just
and
good
obviously, I think Kenny's, like, a hard-working guy. Me and Unya are going hard in practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just gonna go well. I'm sure aBeZy is the same way.
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't talk, like, obviously I don't know, but I'm sure like he is because of how good he is.
Who's the weirdest teammate you've ever had? Is it Ernie?
Ernie, yeah.
Yeah, facts.
Ernie or Caesar.
Oh, nice.
Skies.
What is it about the ARs, man?
I don't know. They just be like different. They're just different. I got one screaming, then Caesar was more like sign it.
I remember he threatened to take his clothes off if you won like a map.
No, you
yeah. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Or he wanted me to slap his belly all the time too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that's good, Chem.
Yeah. And I was doing it too. Hey, we won champs.
Yeah, that's facts.
Hold on a minute.
No, for sure.
It was helping for sure.
It helped. Well, there you go, guys. If you're wondering what your team needs to do to win a ring,
slap your belly. Well, your teammate's belly actually.
Talk to Crim and Clay. I mean, what happened in the past, bro, it is what it is, and I feel like I've also came a long way. So there ain't no like bad blood or anything between us. He's a psycho now with the racing. Yeah, I know, bro. He's been killing that shit. I'm pretty sure he even got skinny. Why did you guys beef? I ain't gonna lie, that was a couple years ago, bro. I don't know. I think he was just trying to like kind of push everyone on the team to become like, you know, the best. But I think for me, I have no problem with the way he was as a teammate. Like, bro, I got thick skin, bro. But the thing is that he was trying to be so hard on us, bro, from the get-go of the game, bro. You gotta at least give us some time to understand the game and shit. You know, like I'm talking, we're tweaking like in the kickoff tournaments. Like that's kind of insane. Besides that, like I actually really like Crim as a teammate. Like I'm the same way, bro. Like, I don't want my teammates fucking around either.
To the cameras, I'm going to say this. Listen, you players, you guys ban snipers. I am going to get together with all the team owners, and we're going to boycott paying you, motherfucker. How do you like that?
GA salaries.
And guess what? We got GA salaries, and guess what? The Green Wall and all the fans of Call of Duty are on our side. So what are you going to do then? What are you going to do? You're going to bitch publicly and to apply pressure to the owners? No. Us, the owners, and the fandom want the sniper back.
See, Dylan Cod, I see.
Strong words from HECZ. The question, I guess, is can he actually get this done? And what would this look like in reality? Because we know that last season, the power that the players have had has been diminishing to a certain extent. There's finally been a recognition, I think, from the CDL that when you let the players make their own decisions, they will make decisions in the best interest of themselves, not necessarily for anything else. When it comes to choosing what maps we're going to play competitively, let's say there's a change in map pool coming, someone wants to get rid of Express and bring in one of the new DLC maps or something, they won't do that if they're not bad at Express and want to be better at some other hypothetical map. Even if Express, we know that Express is a good map, this is a bad example, but the point is that let's say there's a terrible search and destroy map, like we had on Vault this year. Vault Search I don't think was a good fundamental search and destroy map, right? But some teams would have voted to keep it because they were good at it. It required no brain, really. You just run at the A bomb site and you plant the bomb every single round. So some teams liked that because they felt that it gave them a chance against theoretically better teams. So if you ask the pros to vote, some of the teams would have wanted to keep Vault, even if fundamentally it was not as good of a map as they could have replaced it with, as, you know, they brought in Dealership eventually and some other maps that were probably a bit better than what we had with Vault. So there's been a recognition that if you let the pros make the decisions, when it comes to maps, for example, the CDL can just step in and do it themselves because they know that the pros will be biased in their decision making. They understandably have their best interest in mind rather than the best interest of the scene at large, the general competitive landscape, what the audience thinks about it as well. So this has been a key recognition now. The league knows that they will make the decisions on maps rather than the pros. But unfortunately, the ability of them to do that is somewhat limited when it comes to weapons and things in the game. Let's say the pros agree in their group chat that they're going to ban the snipers. What's the league going to do about that, right? Because the league can say, oh no, you must use the snipers, but the pros can be like, oh, we're not using them because we don't think they're competitively viable. So, and obviously that wouldn't probably be true. There probably is a place for at least one sniper on a map this upcoming year. I think that many would want to see it, right? Because we've seen some of the clips in the beta. Yeah, is the sniper pretty good in this game? Yes. Does it have aim assist? Yes. What is the smoke grenade going to look like? Also a good question. But is there also some level of advanced movement which makes hitting shots in times probably harder? Also probably yes. So, you know, if I want to get across, let's say across, someone's holding it with a sniper, I can hit a wall bounce, right? Maybe get out of there instead. So I don't think the snipers are going to be at a point where if they were in the game, you would be seeing 2 a team, right, per map. Like we used to see back in World War II when they were allowed, when the crop of pro players we had were a rather different, set of players, you could argue, to what we have today. The sniper's definitely good. HECZ clearly had a great time with it in the beta and wants it in competitive play, and for good reason. I think the vast majority of fans would agree with that assessment. The pros would say, well, we're down if buts and maybes, right? They want various things to change. And even then, the pros often say, oh, we want to make sure that smokes are okay, or we want no aim assist and all this. Let's say Traixx did all that. I guarantee there's still a load of teams that would vote it out anyway because they just don't want snipers in because they don't have a good sniper player on their team, arguably. Or they prefer just to play a head bash search and destroy. They don't have to think about snipers or play tactically around it. If there's a sniper on the other team, you've got to play tactically. I actually think it adds a whole element to the game. If you're playing Counter-Strike and you know the other team's got an AWPer and you've not got a smoke grenade, you've got to play tactically. You've got to, shoulder peek. You've got to jiggle. You've got to maybe go a different way or come up with a different strategy to counter that guy. But in COD, apparently we just don't bother with that. And it's like, oh no, we'll just ban it. And then we'll just play head bash COD for the entire time. So I'm fully in favor of snipers being in. But the question is, the league doesn't have the power to force the players to use it. So does HECZ have the power and the team owners to try and do something about it instead, right? Like, look, I don't know how serious this threat obviously is, because at the end of the day, the players will be contracted with salaries that they will be mandated to pay. I don't imagine this is going to be a clause in the contract precisely. But HECZ does say that he will be certainly putting pressure on, because the team owners, I'm sure, largely agree with HECZ. Certainly Nadeshot would, right? Now, of course, they're actual proper Call of Duty guys. Not all the owners that is necessarily the case for. Some won't really care. But the owners that have the best interest of the community at heart, the best interest of the fans and the audience at heart, they are going to be in favor of this. And look, they're not going to be able to exactly boycott their salaries precisely, I don't imagine. But they could certainly put some pressure on their players to make this happen. And all it takes is a couple of teams to be using it. Like, let's say OpTic, they just decide, well, HECZ has told us we're going to use it, so we're going to use it. And then the other teams, they might want to GA it, but what are you going to do? Like, blacklist OpTic because they're using a sniper, not scrim them? They're the world champions, right? You're probably not going to be able to do that. So then the other teams might be forced into a corner and say, well, I guess if OpTic are doing it, we might as well just use the sniper as well. They'll probably use the sniper and realize it's not even that good. So, you know, that's where we'll find ourselves probably, hopefully anyway, when the season gets underway. But tweet your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.